Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm gonna do another round of 5-star predictions. So I have pretty much failed at this pretty regularly. So this is gonna be take 3. Or round 3, whatever I decide to call this. Anyway, so I did it first in 2017, I believe, is when Mercedes Mercy's Bookish Musings did the first one, and I jumped on that bandwagon and I did that, and I really failed at the first one. I never completed that one. And then I did a second one in December of 2019 for 2020, and I wanted to get the 6 books that I picked read by June. Well, again, pandemic. I didn't do that. So I've decided to show the results for this one and then restart, because I've gotten to the point now where this video keeps being pushed out from my schedule because I want to wait till I finish a book, but it's not going to happen yet. I've kind of decided I better just finish this off and then restart, because I really want to put these other 5 books on a 5-star prediction and then try to read those this year. I'm not we'll see how I do. So let's just go through the books that were in my video. I will have that linked down below, not that you want to watch that, but my take 2 video. So as I said, I had 6 books that I picked. 5 of them were series. One was in the middle of a series, the other ones were all started series, and then I had one other book that was a standalone. So we'll just go through them. Let's talk about the books that I finished, because unfortunately that's only 3 of them. But I did give 5 stars to Hearthstone by L. Catherine White. This is the first book in the Hearthstone series. I read all 3 of them in July and August, maybe into September, but I read all 3 books pretty close together. Again, the first book is my favorite and the one I gave 5 stars. The other 2 I did not give 5 stars to, but this series was worth it. I did binge it as soon as I started it, so I do enjoy this. This again is Pride and Prejudice with dragons, so it's fantastical, but with a very loose plot of Pride and Prejudice in it. I mean, most of the names are changed or slightly changed, or some are really, and it has to do with, there's creatures, and again, they're dragon riders. Darcy's a dragon rider, and I really enjoyed this book, and I'm already looking, again, I've already read this once last year. I'm probably going to reread it again fairly soon, or maybe in Jane Austen July again. I would say this is a great pick for that, just in case you need a fantasy Jane Austen. I really enjoyed this first book. The other 2 were very much different, so if you liked the series I would continue, but I gave this 5 stars, and I'm really glad that I picked that up. And then I did also give 5 stars to Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. It's the first book in the Thomas Cromwell trilogy. I read this for Cromwellathon last year that Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse did. So I did really enjoy this. I got into this pretty good. I know a lot of people have issues with some of Hilary Mantel's the way she writes it, but as long as you know that it's a he, that he means Cromwell, you pretty much can get through the book. Anyway, so this follows Cromwell with Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII and that history. And so this first one was really, really good. And I did continue and read Bring Up the Bodies. I have not finished The Mirror and the Light. That is a book I want to finish this year when the paperback comes out, because I'll get a copy then. I did start it from the library, but I didn't have time to finish it because it's a really big book. But I do want to finish out this series hopefully this year. But I did give the first book 5 stars, so that was right. And that is historical fiction, of course. And then I read Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. This is translated by Philip Gabriel from the Japanese. This is a book I've had, was one of the oldest books on my TBR. I had bought this in 2005 when I went to Australia, because I had to have the one with the cat on it. And it was paperback at the time. It was only hardback in the US. So this one I did not enjoy as much. I was hoping it was going to be how I feel about like the Wind Up Bird Chronicle, or one of the other older books. This one, I had a major problem with one of the main characters. I loved the second, there's 2 timelines, or 2 characters we were following their paths. And one of them I really enjoyed. I really liked that one. But the other one I did not so much at the halfway point and on. So, I mean, it came around kind of in the end, but it didn't work for me. So I gave it a 3. It was not what I was hoping for. I still have a couple of Murakami's big books that I have to read. I always usually find that I like the bigger books better than the short ones. The short ones always feel there's not enough there, or I just like them a lot quicker. I don't know. But this one was not one for me, not a hit, but I will not get rid of the book only because it's got the cute cat on it and I bought it in Australia, so it's kind of fun like that. So those are the ones that I finished. I DNF'd Behind the Throne by KB Wagers. This is a sci-fi kind of adventure story, so it's following a gun runner who was heir to the throne, but she left that life behind to become a gun runner. She made changes to herself, and so she disappeared. And then years later, she is called back when something happens to her sisters. And then she goes back, and I got over 100 pages. Yes, Cooper. I got over 100 pages into this, but I felt that when the main character, Hell Bristol, okay, cat, no, sorry. If she got to her mother, you know, her first conversation with her mother in like 10 or so years, I don't remember how many years it was, that she reverted to a child. It was ridiculous, and it just, because we're in her head, it just got worse and worse for me, and I just couldn't do it. So this was a fail for me. I hear a lot of people love this series, so I think it was just me, that it was just hitting the buttons for me that was having trouble with. So I still know a lot of people who love these series. Again, I think there's 2 sets of trilogies following these characters. So as I said, it just didn't work for me, and it was in DNF. And then I have one that I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Blackwing is the first book in the Raven's Mark by Ed McDonald. I tried to read this 3 times this fall, and I just can't do it. I don't know if it's because it's in first person, and I didn't expect that, but this is supposed to be, you know, apocalyptic, kind of a horrible land called The Misery, where this bounty hunter goes in looking for this woman who did something that political, like, kings and something, they want her or something for some reason. And I didn't get very far because the writing style just didn't click with me. So this is one of those books where I'm like, I think it's just not the right time for me. I will try. This is not one I'm not going to get rid of right yet. I want to give it one more try, but I'm going to wait a year or so. So maybe this next fall I'll try it again, and maybe then it'll click with me. But the 3 times I tried to pick it up this fall, just every time I'm like, no, I can't do this. And I don't know why I want to give it so many tries, but I feel like this trilogy's done, and I just don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I know some people who really like it, so I really want to try that. But it's definitely one I just didn't get. I tried, and again, I'm not DNFing it. And then the book that I'm not finished with yet, which was why I was holding out for this video for a couple months, is the Vicom de Broglie by Alexandre Dumas. This is translated from the French by David Coward. So this is the 3rd book in the D'Artagnan romances. I am going to finish this book. Like, this book I am 160 pages in. You know, it's like 660. So I have 500 pages left of this. I'm going to get to this. It's just this year so far, I figured out in December that I was supposed to read this. I forgot it was on the list. And then I tried to read it when I shouldn't have, and then it's been just kind of an up and down on trying to get this read. So I will still read this book. I need to move on with my 5-star predictions and do another list. This is still, I would like to say this is going to be a 5-star. Right now it's a solid 4. I don't think it'll go to a 5-star unless things change radically, so we will see what happens. But again, Three Musketeers is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is the continuation. It's book 3, so I do want to read this so I can continue the series, but I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star, but I've decided to just let that kind of go, and I will, you know, we'll just move on. So let me just go through real quick the books that are now on my round 3 of 5-star predictions, because I would like to get this done within the year. If I get it done sooner, that would be awesome, but clearly time limits are not doing good for me. I'm going to put The House of Riverton by Kate Morton on there. I'm trying to read more historical fiction, and I own like 4 or 5 books of hers. It must be 5. And I haven't read any of them, so I do want to read this. I think it's a dual timeline. 1924, I think at a party, some man kills himself in front of some girls, and then in 1999, I think they're going to make a film about what happened, about this poet and they go to talk to one of the, I think someone who was a maid at that time, and then she tells the story of what happened. So anyway, I hear really good things about Kate Morton, and I do want to try one of hers. I want to read A Queen in Hiding by Sarah, oh gosh, Kozloff. So this is book 1 of the 9 Realms series. It's a quartet. There's 4 books. They're all out. They all came out last year, like one after another. And I bought the first one thinking, okay, I want to try it before I buy all the rest of them. So I haven't bought any more of them, but I really want to try this series. I did read the first chapter or 2 one day, and then I don't remember what happened, but I didn't get back to it. I think I was just trying a couple books at that time, and I go, well, I definitely want to read that. I didn't, that day didn't feel like a fantasy. So, again, it's a woman who, well, she starts out when she's a child, and her powers have not manifest, so it's kind of odd, and they're not quite sure, you know, why that is. And then something happens, the kingdom is taken over, and she goes into hiding. And I think it's her coming back in between the 4 books that trying to get back the crown. I'm not quite sure. Again, I said I've heard really good things about it, but I haven't read it yet. I would like to do The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. I hear so many good things about this book, and it just sounds great, you know, historical fantasy kind of thing, where it's 1883, and I think a man somehow finds a watch, or something happens, and then something in the watch leads to some weird things. I don't know, actually. I have no idea. I just hear really good things about people talk about this, and I see it on everybody's shelves. I need to read this. Deal with the Devil by Kit Rocha. This is an apocalyptic mercenary librarians novel, romance. So it's like a apocalyptic fantasy romance. I'm not sure. Anyway, but the point is, I read Kit Rocha's, it's a team of writers, and I read their erotica back in the day, and I haven't read anything from them recently, but this is their first like traditional publication through a publisher. So I've heard really good things about this. I just want a fun ride. This is what it is. I think it'll be I'm hoping the series will be a 5-star for me, because it's librarians and they're mercenaries, and they're trying to save knowledge and save people. I don't know, but I hear it's really good. It's about the group of the librarians, and then there's another group of military guys, and I think they are at first at cross purposes, and then something happens to change it, and of course there's a love story in here too. So and then again, they have a second book coming out later this year, so I'd like to read this first before I pre-order the other book, but we'll see. And then the last one is a book that I have been meaning to read for, 2 years? The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I put this on this list because I need to read this book. I keep hearing about this writer, and I have the Sundown Motel on my Kindle. So I do have a second book by her, but I just want to read it. It has, again, the dual timeline, which is one of my favorite things for historical fiction. But this is more on the horror side, I think, slightly, because I think it has to do with a reform school for girls, and I think somebody dies or something in that one. And then there's another timeline later in the more present time. I don't know what year that is, 2014. So the first one is 1950, and the second one is in 2014, and it's a woman who's a journalist whose sister had died in that area for some reason or other, and the mystery there. I've heard so many good things about this book. I just need to read it. So my cats are just going crazy out there. Anyway, so those are the books. So as I said, these are the books that I want to read, hopefully before the end of the year. I'm hoping to read them way earlier than that. I'm hoping to be done by June, but can I do it? I don't know. I'm not going to put a time limit on it. Anyway, so if you guys have read any of those, or they were 5 stars for you, let me know. You know, don't tell me if you hated them. That would, well, you could tell me that too. I don't care. I'm going to try to read these. I'm going to attempt these. And then, as I said, I just want to do another prediction, because these are just so much fun to just try. I obviously do not do a very good job of it, but I do need to try. These are books I want to get to. Some of them have been on my shelf for a little while, so I definitely want to get to them. So anyway, hopefully that's not too rambly. Anyway, let me know if you do 5-star predictions and how they've worked out for you, because clearly I'm about, less than 50%. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.